Okay, so this is Glare, which is Ward Arc 3. And of course, full spoilers for Worm and everything else so far, if that comes up. But I guess it would definitely come up because we start in New Brockton Bay. So we're in Earth Gimel, I believe is what it's called. It kind of makes it easier for me to remember because I'm like, okay, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and then the Earth from Worm was Earth Bet. So I was like Earth Beta, and then G, it's not for Gamma, but it's almost like Earth 3, I think is where most of the story takes place. So this is New Brockton Bay in Earth Gimel. And I think they talk about it here and in the last arc as well, that there's elections going on to determine who's going to be the new mayor of the area. There's this place called Cedar Point, which is referred to as Hollow Point by most people, most players. And from the little bit I've read of Arc 4, which is like just the first little chunk with Ashley and Prancer, it sounds like that's kind of what Prancer was doing in his interlude, was he was getting a lot of B-listers together, getting a squad together, and they're what runs Hollow Point. It's kind of a place for villains to gather, to chill, and kind of figure things out. Lisa, of course, is a major player in a lot of the things that are going on in Earth Gimel. Vicky makes a comment to her that the rest of the Undersiders aren't really a team anymore. So I don't know if it's like there was a big fight and everyone kind of went their separate ways, or if it's, no, they're still, like, they're under one banner, but they are kind of doing their own separate thing. They don't really interact with each other a whole lot, but there's no bad blood, there's no beef. It's just Imp is doing her thing, Bitch is doing her thing, and Lisa's just like trying to take over the world. But something like that. There's this one bit that I really liked where it's the reason, as she says, like, yeah, the reason I'm meeting with you, Vicky, is because like we know each other, kind of. This is just a hometown respect thing. And there was just a lot of like little lines and quips that I enjoyed from their interaction. Specifically her saying, or like Victoria saying, yeah, reading Fly Home Glory Hole, from the fact that you're being really amicable, that seemed unnecessarily antagonistic, to which Lisa just says, well, yeah, but I'm unnecessarily antagonist. And like, yeah, she really is. And that's the thing about Lisa. She's such an awful person and never really stops being an awful person. Maybe that changes in Ward, I don't know. But in Worm, she's just terrible. But she's such a fun character, and her being so unnecessarily antagonistic, I could see why some people would find her to be really annoying and really smug and just not like her, but I find her to be such a fun character with it that I just can't help it. But essentially they have this meeting, and Lisa's like, here's the thing, Vicky. You're way too late in the game to be able to establish yourself as a player here, and you don't have the necessary clout where you could just show up and say, yeah, I'm late to the party, but I always have an invitation kind of thing. So whatever you're planning with whatever you're doing, that's not gonna work. Find a team, or I don't know, go like work at Starbucks or something, dude. Like, I wish you the best, genuinely, but just fly home, Vicky. So Vicky and the rest of the crew end up playing Capture the Flag. And this is where you learn what everyone's powers are, but I brought that up in the last video because I'd already read this chunk of Glare. Oh, hi, Bahamut. Sorry, I just noticed my cat being all cute. So yeah, the way it works is Tristan, Vicky, and Sveta are on a team, and Ashley, Kenzie, and Chris are on a team. And something I forgot to mention in the last video that I really want to highlight here is I really like the relationship between Ashley and Kenzie. It's something you see in Glowworm, because I do remember that point where we don't know who they are at the time, but Ashley and Kenzie are talking to each other, and Ashley says to her, this isn't gonna work, this whole hero thing, it's gonna fall apart, and then I'm gonna go back to being a villain when it happens. When it does, I would like to hire you. You can be my minion. You can be my underling. I'll pay you. I'll make sure that, like, I really love it because, like, from her perspective, it comes across as, hey, I'm going to do my own thing eventually, but I think you're cool or at least useful, and I'd like you to work for me. I'll take care of you. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Just keep in mind when this falls apart and I go back to being a terrible person, I want you by my side. And from just the little bit I know about Kenzie from reading these first few arcs and how she's like, yeah, people don't want me around. Having someone who says to her, when this group breaks up, I still want you by my side, I know that means the world to her. And then when Ashley walked into the therapy session, I like how Kenzie immediately calls her boss. And, like, I just think that's cute. I think that's sweet. And here, when it's Ashley's turn to pick, because Tristan has the first pick and he picks Vicky, she immediately picks Kenzie. Out of everyone else in the group, it's like, you're my homie, I'm picking you. And after Ashley's side loses and Ashley starts getting all mad, and like, this is just a game, and I don't like losing, but I also don't play games, this is stupid, and, you know, she goes and huffs off. Kenzie is the one that goes up to her and talks to her. I like that. Like, already we have what seems to be a genuinely really close relationship, and I just think that's neat. Yeah, I just looked at my notes. Like, yes, Sveta's the one who gets the W. Ashley is a sore loser, which she really is. But so their plan to go forward is, what we're going to try to do is just gather intel. The fact that Ashley is a known villainess, she can go into these areas, like she can go to the bars, she can mingle with people, she can get information. Kenzie with her Tinker Tech can do that. Chris has these different transformations, so he can use multiple forms to, you know, talk to different people. We can use Chris's multiple forms as a distraction. It's like, hey, look, there's a big Hulk running around. We gotta go take care of this. And then while that's going on, we can go do other stuff. Once we have sufficient intel where we really feel like we know what's going on or a plan can be hatched, it's like, we're gonna do it? No, we're gonna sell it to the people who actually know what they're doing, like the Wardens. And if they want us to help in any operation, we're good to help. But if not, no hard feelings. We will do what's best for us for now. So we get all that. And then we get a couple scenes with Vicky and her parents. So we get one with her and her dad, who goes to visit her at Crystal's place. And Crystal's playing defense. Like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And the vibe that I got is her parents aren't together anymore. And I don't remember that happening in Worm. So I'm assuming that either during the time skip in like arc 25 of Worm or sometime afterwards, the two of them got divorced. Or maybe they're not divorced, but they're just legally separated. But it seems that Brandish is still... Flashbang. I think it's Flashbang is still in love with Brandish. He's like, look, I can see a lot of your mother in you, Victoria. And I know you don't mean, I know you don't take that as a compliment, but I mean it in the best possible way. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to lie, Dad, that kind of puts you on thin ice. But, you know, they kind of talk about what her plan is and her plan for this team. And he's like, okay, like, I can see that. I think that's a good idea. You know, I like the fact that you're being very forward thinking, that you're really trying to, like, take your life in your own hands. Well, it reminds me of your mother. I would also suggest getting a lawyer. It's something that a lot of hero teams do, especially when they're just starting out. It's good to have an attorney on staff so they can know these are the things you should do as a hero. These are things you don't do as a hero. And I found that really interesting. It's just one of those things like, yeah, that makes sense. And as they've also talked about, it's like, well, we're in a new Earth, like society collapsed because Gold Morning happened. We're still trying to figure out what our new legal system is, which makes the whole thing a lot more nebulous, but also makes it a lot more important that we're trying to follow the rules and adhere to the rules as best we can, because we would be setting up a good foundation. And I liked that quite a bit. Let's see. Okay, so like that's mostly her talking to her dad. So she does go to meet her mom at like the Warden's HQ, which leads to her mom essentially being like, "Oh, Victoria, like, it's so nice to see you, blah, 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 blah. When are we going to do dinner? We should do dinner. I mean, you, me, Amy, it'll be great." And Vicky's just, really? Really? Like, I came to ask you some questions, like some legal advice, strictly business. You had to push the Amy button. Like, I'm not going to blow a whole gasket here, but I kind of want to. I don't know. I just really enjoyed all that. We also get to meet Moonsong, who we've met before because Vicky talked to her during that Fallen riot. That's the word I wanted. Like, during the game that almost became a riot. But now we're formally introduced to her. We also met her in Glowworm. This is Tristan's former teammate who really hates Tristan, but really likes Byron. And she talks about, he's a manipulator, he's a sociopath, he uses people, he doesn't like losing. And he will do whatever he can and use whoever he can to make sure he comes out on top. And Tristan's like, yeah, no, don't listen to her. Like, you're a sociopath. Like you're the one who's crazy. You're delusional. And I'm like, I want to know what happened here. Like, I genuinely don't know. Sorry, my shirt keeps getting caught. I'm like, I don't know what happened here. So I don't know how much of this is the two of them have beef and Moonsong takes it way too far, or if it's, no, she has reasons to. Because I specifically remember in Glowworm when the two of them are having a chat, I think she says to Tristan, like, I'm really upset that you survived. That is like a deep level of hate. So I don't know what he did. I feel like it has to be something personal. And it can't just be yeah, I don't like you and we never gelled. It might be I kind of hope you died because that means Byron would get the body full time, and maybe that's just it. But like, she's like super into Byron, but it feels deeper, like more personal. Like I guess Tristan did something, whether it was intentional, whether she's overreacting to it or not, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to seeing that. Also, her power's cool as hell. I love gravity manipulation. So she can manipulate gravity by either making it like zero gravity or making it more intense, or almost kind of both at the same time. Like, oh, that's cool. I can't wait to see fights with you. Because I remember this was also Worm Arc 25. It was Topsy Turvy, who's the like dude in Chicago. And I hated that chapter because like I don't care. I'm sorry. But with all the stuff going on, like we just fought an Endbringer, we're preparing for the SNK arc. I don't care about just fighting like street level whatevers at this point in the story. But this is a dude that can like turn off gravity. This is cool though. And so I don't know how important Moonsong is, but obviously like the relationship with Tristan, she's gonna be recurring at least to some degree. So I'm hoping to see more of how her power works. Excuse me. And it was also during this scene, we do see Byron a couple times. He mentions that, yeah, Moonsong's not wrong when it comes to the fact that my brother is a very sore loser and he's someone that will kind of do anything it takes to win. It makes it, like, he says, like, I love my brother. He is the worst person to share a body with. He also specifically says, I'm not on board with the hero team, but I don't want my objection or my hesitation, because I think it's Moonsong that specifically is like, hey, if he doesn't want to do it, you should all call this off. He's against his will, blah, blah, blah. He's like, look, I'm not for it. But essentially not to the point where I'm saying no one else can do this without me. I think we should all do it. Or it's like, if they want to do it, that's fine. Just let it be known I thought this was a bad idea. And that's more or less how the arc ends. And then you get the interlude, which is Dot, one of Nilbog's creations. Like, I wasn't expecting to see the Goblin King so quick. I appreciated that. Like, breaks into the Warden HQ to go save him. And he's having a meeting with Alice and the Red Queen. And so they just mentioned the name Riley real quick, and I'm like, oh, that's Bonesaw. Bonesaw as Alice is kind of a fun idea. I like that a lot. And with the other person having to check on her work, I'm like, okay, I know that's Amy. I also know that at some point, like, Amy refers to herself as the Red Queen, so I'm assuming this is where that name comes from. I don't know all, like, obviously, like, I've read Alice, so, like, I understand the significance of the name. I don't know, like, I don't know Amy's story in Ward. That's what I'm trying to say. I just know she's no longer Panacea at a certain point, maybe already at the start, and she is the Red Queen. Excuse me. But as they're having this conversation, essentially Nilbog's like, you are a queen. You're a queen without a queendom. You should do something about that. Like, you are one of the most powerful people in existence. You should make your own empire. And her saying, I know I could, but I don't like what happens when I use my powers to get things I want. And like, I like that a lot. I feel like, and again, from the little bit I've heard, it sounds like Amy's kind of a different person in Ward. Again, I don't know a lot of specifics, but it sounds like she just kind of became a worse person. But that little line to me is like, no, that sounds like the person from the end of War. I mean, like, look, man, I made a bad decision in kind of the heat of the moment, and then I tried to fix it, and I made that initial decision worse. And then there was a point where someone had an insane, crazy idea that if I did something, like, I could make her ludicrously more powerful, and it's exactly what we'd need. And I told her I didn't want to do it because it was my one rule before, and then I broke it, and then everything went to shit. But maybe, fine, I relented, and I did it, and then Kepri happened. So when I break my rule, bad things happen. I kind of don't want to do that anymore. And I liked that. I found that interesting. But Dot goes to break out Nilbog. He's like, look, man, my time as king is done. Like, I'm old. I'm trapped. Go live your life. And so she ends up running into Amy, and they become a pair now. Not like an item, I don't think, but it's like she's like Amy's Pokemon now, I guess. And I think the last line of the interlude was like, I'll help you with your anger if you help me with mine. So I don't know, maybe Amy is a major villain, becomes like a main antagonist, I don't know. And as she, goes off the deep end or something. But I feel like Amy is someone with a lot of anger, but I think a lot of it is internal. That was the vibe I really got from her reading Worm. So it might be just look, I need a companion. I need someone that will just kind of be by my side and make sure that I'm doing okay and that I don't do anything stupid and that I can vent to. So we'll see if that's what the relationship is. If it's more of Dot going, no, be the Red Queen, kill everybody. I don't know. We'll see. But aside from that, looking at my notes, one of the other notes I have is that the PRT still doesn't really understand Lisa's power. They just think she can learn your weaknesses, which isn't untrue, and she is not going to correct them on that. I mentioned Ashley and Kenzie. And so that's one major relationship we've seen in the group. There's also Kenzie and Chris, and she seems to really like him. But it's not reciprocated because he finds her kind of annoying, but I don't know how much of that is like, no, he does like her, but wants to keep some distance and some space. It's like, a guy being a jerk to a girl he likes. I don't super know. We'll see. There's this one line that Kenzie had that I liked. I don't remember who she said it to. I feel like it was to Vicky or to Ashley, but she says, we're all burdens in our own screwed up way. And it kind of reminded me of the Parahuman card. Like, shit's complicated, don't ask, handle with care. We're all screwed up, man. There's this other line that I liked with Ashley talking to Vicky about the plan and all the different ideas for the team. And Ashley kind of hits her with you're scared. Like, you're being... And she's like, no, I'm not scared. I'm just cautious. I think we should... I think we should plan, not just jump in. Like, no. You're scared. I respect that. And that was the part that got me. It was like, you're scared, you're weak, and like, you can't be a good, like, you're afraid. I respect that. I respect fear. Like, I just kind of enjoyed that. Yeah, that was arc 3. I enjoyed it. I like reading parahumans. Knock on wood. Hopefully the rest of Ord doesn't make me regret that. But, yeah, had a good time with it. Looking forward to reading more of arc 4. See you.